In the last video, we created this drop-down page so that when we choose the transition and then click the button, we get the transition. In this video, we're going to add to that page so that it's going to look something like this. We can choose the transition and we see the transition up here in the header. And then when we click it, we get the transition. So we're going to add transitions too. So if I choose another one, click the button, and we get that transition. So this is where we're going in this video. For right now, let's go back to the code. So let's create a H1 tag. And then let's give some text. Say choose a transform from the drop down, and then click the image. So now let's give it a style. Up here in the CSS, get the H1. Let's give it a text align of center. And then a color, let's go with orange. FFB000 is orange. So let's save that and look at it in the browser. Refresh. Okay, so now we got to restyle this, reposition our drop down. So let's go down and find our transform, and let's give it a top of 15%. Try that. Yeah, how about a top of 20%? Try that. That's better. Okay. So now, when we choose something from the drop-down list, let's put the text up in our H1 tag. So let's go down to the JavaScript. Okay, so right at the top, I want to create a function. I'm going to get the ID with the transform, and when I change it, I'm going to run a function. So inside the curly braces, what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a variable called text, and it's going to be equal to the transform element or select, but the option selected. Okay, so set that and it equal to the text. So let's console.log text. Okay, so refresh. When I choose something, change something, let's look at the console. You see what I get is what I selected. You see, let's try that again. And again, I get exactly what I'm selected. So now what we really want to do, instead of console.logging it, we want to get let's give this H1 tag an ID, call it header. Okay, so I'm going to copy the header ID, and down in the JavaScript, going to target the header ID, and I'm going to set its text equal to text. I need the pound sign. Okay, so let's try this out. So I refresh. When I choose something, the text in the drop down becomes the header, and then I can still choose the transition and apply the transition when I click the image. Okay, so let's go back to the code. Okay, so now let's go back to our drop-down list and add an option. So I'm going to copy this option, paste it below. Now let's change the X to a Y, so we have rotate Y 90 degrees. Now let's change the value to 4, and in the JavaScript, let's create another else if statement. Just copy that, paste right here. So else if the value is 4, then we want to add the rotate Y class, which we already have right here. But let's change that to a rotate Y 90 degrees. And let's also get this opacity. Copy that right here. Paste it down here. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Refresh. Okay, so we're going to choose the rotate Y, click the image, and now we're rotating on the Y axis. Try another one. rotate X. So now we can see the difference clearly. So let's go back to the code and let's go find our option. Let's add another option. So I'm going to copy this other option and paste it down below. This time we'll make the value 5 and the transform, let's do the scale. And how about a scale of 0? Okay, so now down in the JavaScript, let's create another else if condition. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right here. So this time, if the value is 5, what we need to do is apply the scale class. So I think we already have the scale class made. Right here it does, we have it scales down. So let's try that out and see how it looks. So I refresh and choose scale. Okay, so now let's click the image and see what we get. It scales down. We click the next one, next one, next one. Okay, so let's go back to the code. And so let's go ahead and copy this. Create another class. Below we'll paste it. This time we'll call this scale up. Okay, that's going to make this scale up twice the size. Okay, so now we got to create a new option. We'll copy the option, paste it below. This one will be a value of 6, and we'll scale up by 2. So down in the JavaScript, another else if statement. We'll copy the else if statement, paste it. This time its value is 6. We're going to apply the class scale up. Okay. So I think we have everything. So let's save that and check it out. So we scale up. Okay, we click the image. We click the next image. And now something's wrong. So we got to figure out what's wrong now. Okay, the reason why this is not working after we click the first image is because look at our scale up, it just scales it up and turns its opacity to 0. But the first image is still there, so we're still clicking on the first image and we're applying this class, but it already has the class. So let's try something else. Let's go ahead and add another transition, but we're going to get a different effect. So let's also add the transition translate X. Let's copy this, and inside of our transform property, no comma, just put the translate X. Now let's give it some parameters. Let's translate X by 100%. Okay, let's save that and check it out. And that's the effect that we're going to get. Okay, so let's go back to the code, and in our option tag, let's add that text, translate 100%, because that's the effect that we're getting. Okay, so what we need to do now, check this out. Let's see. Now we need to change the style of our drop down. So let's go up here. That's called with the ID of transform right here. Let's set its left position to 0 and its font size to 1 because we don't really need that big a font size anymore because we got our heading. So everything is working good. Okay, and that is how to add multiple transitions. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and if you learned something and if you like this video, please share it, and in the next video we'll do something else. I don't know if we're going to probably keep adding to this drop down for a little while, but pretty soon we're going to start making a slideshow and we're going to start learning a little bit of PHP. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.